Doom 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 doom. Good evening, Europe, and welcome to Eurovision. Bonsoir, Europe. My best French. Now, if you haven't seen Netflix's latest movie, well, not so latest, but one of their latest movies, Eurovision, the Story of Fire Saga, you're gonna have to pause this video and go watch it right away because it's wonderful. It is happiness. It's being prescribed as antidepressant. I love it. It's the best. And Will Ferrell is always amazing in everything, and so is Racheal McAdams, but she is extra wonderful in this movie. She plays a wonderful Icelander, and she makes me believe she's an Icelander. But as much as I love this movie, there are some inconsistencies, some inaccuracies that I have to address. Now, I am a Eurovision fan, but I am not a major Eurovision fan. But these are the things that I noticed as a person who loves Eurovision once a year. So here are some of my thoughts and opinions, and I would like to bust some, I don't know, do you say bust inaccuracies? Expose inaccuracies about this movie. First of all, in the opening scene, two things. ABBA performed Waterloo in Eurovision in '74. Pretty much impossible that Icelandic people would have been watching it back then, because we didn't start broadcasting it until '83, and we didn't start participating until '86. And also, why are the people drinking beer? We had prohibition until 1989. It was lifted a year after my birth, because once I was born, people were just like,
that's it, this boy gotta have beer in his life.
Oh, and second, in the opening scene, why does a little boy named Lars, which no one is named in Iceland, start speaking English when everybody in the room is speaking Icelandic, especially Pierce Brosnan, who does a fantastic job. I could not understand him without English subtitles. And third, Papa. No one in Iceland calls their dad or their father's Papa. That is not a thing in Iceland. Why does every single American movie do this? No one in Iceland would ever call their father. No one in Iceland would ever call their father Papa. It's Pappi. It's honestly not that hard to say for anyone, no matter what language you speak. Pappi. Pappi. It's not like we're trying to make you say father, which is almost like saying father, so you should be able to say it anyway. The accent. I get it. The Icelandic accent is quite peculiar. It's quite hard to nail down, but please make sure that you don't sound Swedish one moment and then Dutch the other. You gotta just stick to it. And also, most Icelanders speak quite good English. It's like not perfect. They don't have an American accent, but don't try so hard with the accent. You don't have to try so hard. Next, their names. Why are they named Sigrid and Lars? Those are not Icelandic names. We literally have a committee of like 5 people who get to decide if a name should be legal or if you can name your kid that, and no one would allow that. Back in the day, maybe like 100 years ago. Sigrid would be Sigrid or Sigridur. And honestly, I don't think it's too much to ask to just try a little. Just try a little. If you're gonna appropriate our culture, JK, you can't appropriate white culture. Go with proper names. Okay, got it? Next time. Like, you could even go for something super simple, like Karen. We have Karen in Iceland and it's even spelled the same. We just say Karen. At minute 13 and 40 seconds, we get a panoramic shot of the Icelandic Public House of Broadcasting, or whatever they're going to pass it off. That is the University of Iceland. The formal broadcasting house actually looks quite nice. I don't know why they thought it wouldn't matter what the building would look like and pick that as a building. It just makes no sense.
Unnecessary.
One thing that really ticked me off was Anna's accent, who I believe is an Icelandic actress. And I know this is not her fault because she was just going by what the director was telling her, I assume. Why is her accent so strong when she's an Icelandic person speaking English? She would literally have the most normal English Icelandic accent ever. I'm going through these points in chronological order, so there might be some nice things that I will say in between. For example, the sing-along scene of the movie was amazing. I love it. Like, anytime I'm feeling sad or depressed, I'm just gonna watch that scene and it will cheer me the f up. I even appreciated Nada showing up, and I was pissed as f the year she won. First of all, I kind of hated that song, and second of all, she's from Israel. I'm sorry. It's just okay. It's okay if you're from Israel, but when you're pro the Israeli state, it's not as great. Leave Palestine the f alone. Yes, like I've touched on before in my videos, we believe in elves. Statistics show that about 60% or more Icelanders believe in elves. So it was wonderful to see all this elf and hidden people culture represented in the movie. And they actually did not bastardize it or do a bad job at it. But what the fuck is a spirit note that Sigrid's mom keeps talking about and then the Russian guy is talking about? I've never heard of that. Minute 53, when Mida, otherwise a wonderful character in the movie, literally sexually harasses Will Ferrell's character Lars and grabs him by the balls and doesn't allow him to deny her sexual advances. I know the roles are reversed here than we usually see, but that was an absolutely unnecessary scene. Like, that... the only thing that makes me feel sad about this movie, just cut that part out, redo that part. Like, no, not an inaccuracy or a bad judgment or something annoys me about the movie, but I thought it was really cute and really funny during a dress rehearsal when Racheal McAdams, Canadian, slips out and she yells out, "Hey!" We would never do that in Iceland. It is my strongest belief that when Racheal McAdams references churn the butter, she is trying to say or convey a very famous Icelandic anecdote that is on with the butter or áfram with smjörið. It's just much funnier if you translate it directly instead of being fancy and say churn. Like, most people today don't even know what it means to churn butter. Out of all of the things that could bug me about this movie, being someone who loves Eurovision, and even though I'm not a super fan or a fanatic, I still know the rules and the current rules, and I try my best to keep up with the rules. So wouldn't it have been so hard to have just 6 people on the stage for every act? It's been a rule from since I remember that each act can only have 6 people on the stage, not an entire dance squad. Just such a minor thing that you could have just complied with. This did not particularly bother me since it was important for the storytelling and the flow of the scenes, but I am surprised that Graham Norton allowed it, since he is playing himself in this movie. If a commentator is talking while a song is going on during live broadcast, they would be fired. No one wants to hear a commentator talk during the performance. Most of us even get annoyed when they are talking in between performances. And I don't know, for some of you that might not know, each country has a commentator for their country specific broadcasting. So we have an Icelandic commentator, and Britain usually has Graham Norton, and each country, and they will like tell you backstories and talk usually needlessly, but still sometimes kind of fun. This thing really bothered me, but I get that they really maybe wanted to have this in the movie, because this is my favorite part of the competition, when each country's representative is broadcasted live and they announce the points from each country. That just does not happen in the semifinals. We do not know any of the points in the semifinals. In the semifinals, they will only tell you which 10 countries are moving ahead to the next round. That's it. And that brings me to the final little irritation that I have with this movie, but that scene was so beautiful that I forgive them for it. When Lars finally gets back to the music hall to perform with his partner in the grand finale, he wants to change the songs so she can sing the beautiful song that she has written, and he sits down and starts playing the piano. The only problem is there are no live instruments on stage in Eurovision, so if he had started playing that piano, there would have been no music coming out of it. They would have just played their song and she couldn't have sung that. I know this is some stupid things to complain about, and now I understand all the comic book geeks that get annoyed when things are inaccurate in comic movies, but I am also not
That kind of a fanboy.
I just wanted to point these out for a funny video. Otherwise, I really love this movie. This movie was absolutely wonderful. I just watched it for the second time. I just watched it for the first time when it just came out, and I can't wait to watch it for the third time. And honestly, everybody should see it. And also, everybody should be watching Eurovision. So hopefully next year we can have proper Eurovision, and it's extra fun here in North America, especially when you live on the West Coast, because the broadcast starts at noon. So it's a perfect opportunity for day drinking and watch a lot of corny songs compete for the prestige of being the European Song Contest winner. And as I said before, despite all these inaccuracies and shortcomings, they are all 100% forgivable. I honestly hope they make a sequel. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope it was informational. I hope it was funny. I hope it was entertaining. As always, you should subscribe to my channel. Turn on that notification bell so you never miss a video. And you should like my Facebook page. You can follow me on Instagram, and you can follow me on Twitter, and you can follow me on Snapchat. See you next time.